Listen, wait a minute. I hear somebody calling. They're saying the boys are back in town.
Yeah, love it.
We're back in here, brother. Like we
Those are some
never.
nice. Those are some nice pipes. Maybe you should have played the R&B star in this movie. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Your Past, and I'm talking to David L. Rowell, the star of Differences, which is coming to Tubi on September 1st, 2023. I'm going to talk to him right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spread a lot. Thank you. There we go. Hey David.
What's up, David? How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, I know. It's been a little bit. I'm excited to see you again.
Almost 3 years. It's like, oh man. Some people get to run it back, and some people don't sometimes. And well, what a blessing, huh?
I know. I'm glad you're still doing it. I'm glad that you are continuing to get out there, continue to put yourself out there, and continuing your career. I know you love it, so it's great to see you back on the screen. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I've got David L. Rowell, the star of Differences, which is coming to Tubi on September 1st, 2023. It is a romantic drama that has a lot of romance and a lot of drama. It has a really great message, some fantastic music, and a good performance by you, David L. Rowell. I'm excited to talk to you about it, so let's get going. So I guess, yeah, I'm excited to have you back on. First question. How did you get involved in this film? I know it's been a few years since Christmas in Carolina. So I know you love acting. You wanted to stay on that train. How did you get back into the role?
Great question. So when I was reached out to for the role of Differences to play the role of Lamad, the producer Maurice Madu had recently seen Christmas in Carolina.
Oh,
So
nice.
that gave me the platform and the exposure to be seen for future projects. He saw me and thought that I might be the guy for his leading character, Lamad. And when he reached out, I'm reading the script and I'm like, oh, you know what? This DJ character sounds like a pretty interesting guy. Let me go for him. And I really appreciate that he reached back immediately and said, no, we were thinking about you going for the lead position on this one. And so we read, I think we did maybe 3 auditions, and by the third audition, we had captured the leading role, and it was just off to the races. But yeah, he saw some of my previous work, and I got an opportunity to go from there.
That's awesome. Building a portfolio, man. That's what it is, right? Just keep grinding, keep working, and hopefully it'll all kind of keep feeding forward, right?
Yeah, you know what Denzel says? Denzel says that if you stick around in a barbershop long enough on a Saturday, eventually you'll get a haircut. So we just and we're being patient for an opportunity, and when it arrives, we're ready to capture it.
Perfect. And I know that this role was a little different, still a leading role, but your character was very different than you were in Christmas in Carolinas. You were an ex-con, so you had to like look good. You looked like freaking good. Like I was one of the first things, like, damn, like David's been working out. Like, how did you have to do any prep for this role, or were you just kind of staying ready, staying hungry for when you would get back on screen?
David, thank you for that. That that's one of the things I'm looking for, to see if people are recognizing the transformation and the
Mhm.
difference between the roles that I normally would take, such as a Hallmark Christmas movie, just clean cut, and to walk into the 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 mind of an ex-con. And yes, I put on some weight. I worked out actively for this role to have more of a rugged look. And I think as you go throughout the movie, you'll see Lamad, the character, start to recognize that he had, recognize his appearance, and he slowly begins to clean up throughout the movie. Like he's
Mhm.
not as rugged and not as rough. But yeah, absolutely. I did put on some weight for this. I worked out a lot for this movie.
The sacrifices you make for your art, I love it.
Yeah, you should have seen me looking at the preview, not the previews and the premiere. I was like, oh my god, here it is. I hope I look good. I hope I look good. I hope I look good. And everybody was just like, wow. I'm like, well, yeah, wow, wow.
It's like you're like flexing the theater, like, yeah, just this
Oh,
is me, all natural.
that's me, right? Huh?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good look right there. So other than getting yoked, anything else you had to do to prepare for this role? Like you said you got in the prison mindset. Did you do anything else other than kind of like work out and get like mentally ready? I don't know, did you visit a prison? Did you watch documentaries? Like, how did you kind of get ready to play Lamont?
Definitely documentaries, and definitely people who have experienced that in their own right. I didn't go up and say, "Hey, can I study you?" It's just like, I spent some time and just to observe the mannerisms, observe the mentality, the tone,
Mhm.
and the essence of who they were, how they moved, how they responded. And Lamad specifically, he was already carrying such weight on his shoulders. He felt like he was behind the eight ball. And he also felt that in life, he wasn't actually creating his own legacy. He was living off the strength of his family's legacy, but he wanted more of himself. So I had to dig deep, well beyond just who I am, and I had to find out what that looked like, what that felt like for someone who just is desperate to find himself in anything when you've been away for 5 years and the world has passed you by.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine, like, thinking about like being in prison for these last 5 years. Like, it's just a different world. Like, everything is different, and that's only like a 5 year stint. Like, I can't imagine being in there for a longer period of time and coming out and trying to adjust to how life is or how life has changed.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Those 5 years. And I mean, you see, when he comes home, everything's different. He remembers nothing. It's night and day. So
And this film had like some, I don't know, quirks or mannerisms that your character kind of had because of that time. Was that in the script, or did you kind of find those in your research and kind of incorporate those into your character and incorporate those into things that happened in the movie?
and those quirks, which specifically would you be referring to?
Like there was one scene, I think he was hoarding toilet paper. I think he was eating really fast, and like he tried to exchange food, right? Like a bargain rather than sharing, like things like that.
I wish I could take credit for that, but the writer was so keen on those little details. Thankfully, you picked up on being habits that you just can't kick. The toilet under the paper, toilet paper under the bedroom, and the spread, and then trying to evade a very awkward conversation by exchanging or bartering of food. Those are very odd things. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it shows that he came from a different environment, or he's been conditioned in a different environment, and he's trying to break those habits. Some of them are already just he doesn't even recognize or can identify that he's having. It's been normal life for 5 years. So yeah, that particular thing is all Maurice Madu, the writer. So
Yeah, I love those little touches because those are the things that you kind of like remember. I think a lot of times when you have someone leaving prison, you get like the like uncomfort, like discomfort of being out in public, or how the world's changed. But those little touches really kind of drive home just some of the things that you have to deal with and some of the things that you carry after having an experience like that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I remember my dad said, I think like his uncle would never throw away a razor blade because he lived through the depression, and he was like, I don't know if I'm never gonna, if I can't afford it, I still have to shave. So every razor blade, he would just put it in oil and like store it. And so he probably had hundreds of razor blades, but that was just
There's
like something that he did.
and because of those traumas or those experiences that they've gone through, they have once you understand, they have good right to do what they're doing.
Mhm.
They're in their mind, they're preserving things, or they're conditioning themselves to prepare for another moment, that what if they stop making those razor blades, or you know I need to protect what's mine in case they stop making this toilet paper. I need to put it in a place where
Yep.
everybody fine. So
Yep. Which is strange. That is also something that happened in the pandemic. So I guess it's kind of it works together. uh,
absolutely.
So this is your second starring role. So I don't want to say old hat, but you've had at least some experience before. What was it like going in a second time? Did you prepare differently? You had to for the role, but were you a little less nervous? Were you a little did you have a little bit more experience? How was it going back in as a second time?
This was a very interesting experience throughout differences to film, because I was one of the more seasoned actors, or I was actually the most seasoned actor in
Oh
this
wow.
particular within the crew, the cast anyway. The
Mhm.
crew had done films before, but our director Alan Adeleke, he this was also his first feature film, so there was a lot of firsts. So I had to actually come in with a veteran mindset, to set the tone, right? Because I've been one of the very few that have done some work,
Mhm.
not for the first time.
Yeah.
yeah, my mindset was that I wanted to set the tone. I wanted my castmates to feel welcome and embraced, and I wanted them to push the envelope if they wanted to, and to utilize me as as a mechanism to get there. So yeah, it was just different. My first time and during my first film, Christmas in Carolina, it was my very first everything. So I was learning so much on the fly. A lot of that stuff I'm learning on camera, and it's like, whoo. Just being very proud of the progression from there to here. Um, I had to be a leader, and I
Yeah.
had to feel comfortable to allow me to lead, and I had to be proven. They didn't just give me that. I had to go and prove, like, hey guys, this is the direction we're going. This is the level of intensity and urgency we're going to carry this thing. And I thought that I did that as far as just encouraging and inspiring those around me to give it the absolute most.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I didn't realize that you were one of the more experienced ones. That's kind of crazy to think, like, in Christmas in Carolina, you had some very veteran kind of actors that you were able to kind of learn from, Eddie Winslow. This one, you kind of had to take on that mantle, which is crazy. Like, it's a big step up for you and kind of a big responsibility. I'm glad that you kind of rose to that.
Yeah, yeah. And he gave me a lot of gems throughout that movie,
Yeah.
encouraged. I know that was my job to do it for the next um, upcoming projects that I chose to be a part of.
That's awesome. And so you mentioned that a lot of this cast, this might they didn't have as much experience as you did. Had you worked with any of them before, or was it all just kind of like a new family that you were creating for this film?
This was totally new. I had met everybody for the first time. It was like Boy Meets World. I mean, but I did meet some of my they are family, lifelong friends. Again, I'm so fortunate to run into the writer and the director who have just been they've just been such breath of fresh air, and yeah, meeting the cast and the crew, everybody for the first time, they were so hungry, they were so ambitious, they were so wide eyed, and when everybody gets that wide eye, it's a good feeling, something
Yeah,
special is in the process of happening. So
yeah.
it's about in that magic in that eye.
And you kind of need that. You need that hunger for an indie film, because I know it's always there's never enough time. There's never enough budget. Everyone's kind of doing it for the love of the movie and like just try to like just tell a story. So it's really good that you were able to help muster that determination, and it feels like the cast all had that similar hunger, similar desire to make something great.
Yeah, Dave, because you got it. Like you said, some of the indies you have to prepare for
Mhm.
for the unexpected. There's never going to be enough time, as you said. There's never going to be always the perfect takes, and wow, do you have to be on top of your game? You have to be efficient. You have to be effective, and you have to be productive. It's man, I'm proud of this team for getting what they did done in 11 days with a fairly new crew. Experience. They were experienced, but they weren't experienced as being leads of their own ships for
Yeah.
once. So this was really impressive.
Wow, 11 days. I was going to ask how much time you had to film, because I remember Christmas in Carolina, you had like about 2 weeks, which seemed insane, and 11 days for this also seems insane. That is a heavy lift.
6 days.
Oh gosh, okay, even less.
We got almost a full 2 weeks. So for me, it was like, whoo, this is good. This is all right.
You're like stretching out. You're like, oh, I got so much space. This is perfect.
Yeah, that was a good amount of time for me to prepare, to rejuvenate, and then perform again. I had a blast, Dave. I
Awesome.
really did.
That's awesome. And I love hearing that. I love hearing that, this is your dream. You're pursuing it, and you're also like having fun doing it. Because I know sometimes, as the movie kind of shows, sometimes you can be chasing a dream for money, or you can be chasing a dream for fame, and that might not have the same, amount of personal kind of appreciation or personal joy from doing it that way. But it sounds like you both love it, you're good at it, and it's kind of fulfilling that role as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I do agree with you. When you begin to chase the things that you love for the wrong reasons, maybe it's time to get out, or maybe it's time to transition. But for me, it's purely the love of the art, to perform and to paint beautiful, illustrate beautiful pictures and scripts into life. And it's just to see it come together in full fold. It's just breathtaking.
And also to memorialize those guns that you had. Like you want to get those on screen, get those set so that, you know, for all time, you've got them on screen, you've got them set, you're good to go.
Woo! Man, look, David, this is gonna be my this is gonna be my bad boys when Will Smith got the 360 turn and he gets up and he starts after he's running. Yeah, this is gonna solidify yours truly. It's like, wow, that David L has those guns.
There we go. I didn't realize that South Carolina was an open carry state, but apparently it was. You had those guns out all the time.
David, you got me on. Rarely am I gotten, but you got me on that one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Woo, that was good. Yeah. They tried to pull me over a couple times, David, but they saw I had my permit to carry, these guns.
You gotta go. Oh, you mean this permit right over here? Let me go grab it. Let me reach across.
Yeah. Right over there, pal.
So, Christmas in Carolina was also, I think, South Carolina. This was South Carolina. It seems like that is like your home hub. It seems like a really good environment. Like, what do you love about making movies in South Carolina? Is it just comfortable? You know it? Is there anything kind of special about making movies in that area?
Well, the camaraderie alone is special in South Carolina. We're not known for film state or film region or hub at all. So the representation of people coming from this place to be lifted or projected on a screen is so powerful and it's so inspiring, and I dare say motivating to some who want to get involved as filmmakers or as actors or screenwriters. This shows them that not only is it possible, but it's in the works and it's happening for people. They're having their opportunities. They're meeting stars that they never thought they'd meet. They're working on their craft and they're actually climbing up that ladder, figuratively and literally. This is very important that South Carolina continues to do this so we can now create a hub here of great actors. Chadwick Boseman is from South Carolina. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Oh, wow.
But we want to make this another place of, stardom and starting. And I hope, let's change that. I don't hope. I'm intentional about cultivating that right here, utilizing my talent to other promising filmmakers and I, the ideologies of what they see for themselves. I'd like to be a part of those things. I have my own as well, but I think it's important for South Carolina to have that representation. I love it. I've had opportunities to go other places, and I do at times. But the way I represent South Carolina, I mean, I'm a South Carolina boy, David. Like I want this to be the place. So.
I love that. No, I love that you're homegrown and you want to kind of lift up this area and kind of allow it to represent and tell some unique stories that you can maybe only tell in South Carolina or can maybe come alive because of the unique things that South Carolina has. I think that's a great mission and a great kind of purpose for your life.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then the way that this film ended, I could see like a sequel, maybe see what life was like for everyone down the road. Like, is there any thought about that? I know you kind of want to see how this movie does in the first place, but I don't know if there are additional stories for these characters to tell.
Listen, I do believe Maurice Madu got so much positive feedback that he is actually strongly considering taking his mighty pen to the paper and the pad and bringing these characters back for a sequel to see how these things have unraveled for each character and life after. So I do believe, I'm personally saying, I believe he's going to write a sequel, but we'll see. If you guys stay in the loop.
Fingers crossed. That means you also have to keep working out, right? You gotta stay in Lamad's shape in case he comes calling, right?
I gotta stay there. I gotta maintain this. So hopefully sooner than later, Maurice Madu, you write this movie so we can all, get back on the circuit and keep progressing.
That's good to hear. So I'm going to switch to, I call it the lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. You can feel free to pass on any of them. But I try to keep them very answerable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First question is, have you ever wanted to start your own business?
Yes.
All right. Have you done that, or is that still a work in progress? There we go. Love it. I was wondering. I was like, those look familiar. Those layers look familiar. So,
Rowell Foundation.
That's awesome. That is awesome. What does the foundation do?
The foundation supports children and their families who can't be home for the holidays within children's hospitals.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
We go and put Christmas in a backpack, from tablets, coloring art supplies, teddy bears, toys, stuffed animals, you name it. We stuff those and we go and provide it to the children's hospitals, exclusively Ronald McDonald House. This year, we'll be going to every single state and with the Ronald McDonald House and Amazon. So if you'd like to be a part of that and show up and just give some of those backpacks to the family, we'd love to see you. Choose a state, we'll give you the date.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, definitely gonna check that out around Christmas time. Help bring some joy to some kids. That sounds amazing. So it sounds like I mean, I guess I know the answer to this, but I want to check. Like, it seems like a big message in this is like having your parents instill a like love of service or a kind of desire to serve in you at a young age. I assume your parents did that, but did your parents instill that kind of desire, that kind of hunger in you when you were young?
Yes, yes. Are these lightning questions? Are they short, or do I just one word?
Hey, look, this is your time. If you want to expand, I'm happy to hear it. I love hearing more.
Yes, yes, yes. My mom was very keen on me finding what it was that I wanted to do and what I loved and what I was passionate about. And she was keen about doing those things because in life you have to be passionate about what you do, or you should, to make life easier. And you have to work hard towards it, and you have to make goals, objectives, and have a vision for yourself. And throughout that vision, you create missions on how you're gonna fulfill that vision. My mom did that for basketball with me, because that's what I fell in love with. And she did everything within her, her authority to allow me to, to spread my wings with it as much as possible, from getting onto an elite AAU team, to finding the best trainer, to, allowing time to work on my game outside in the backyard, to let me educate myself more on the sport. I was absolutely obsessed. But when that ended, I knew how to transfer to something else that I would fall in love to, and how to work it, and how to climb that ladder, right? And how to be better, how to grow. We also have a basketball camp yearly, the Rockham Experience, in which we teach lifelong skill through the sport of basketball, utilizing basketball as the mechanism to bring camaraderie and life skill, teach them how to assert themselves amongst adults, and to interact, and that, it's a part of who I am, Dave. It's a part of.
I can tell. Like, with the number of things that you do and kind of the passion that you speak with it, I can definitely tell that this is definitely something that you have a need to kind of get out there, to need to help others. That's an amazing, set of things that you have dedicated your life to.
Yes. So I'm on service. So
yeah.
That comparison between Lamad and myself, we are very similar.
Yeah, that's awesome. And your bodies are similar too, so it works.
Dave, dude, I gotta bring you on as a publicist, man. You are amazing. You are amazing. I love it.
I'll do what I can. The next question is, this movie starts with your character kind of working retail, trying to get back on his feet. Have you ever worked retail?
Once, Abercrombie. I was an Abercrombie model.
That makes sense. That fits. Well, you're a model. Does that count? Does that count as retail, or you're like on a ivory tower in that instance?
When they consider it the same thing. They pick the models to be the cashiers in the retail.
Gotcha.
So it's both worlds, best of both worlds.
That is a great job. That's a great retail job, way better than mine was. So.
Well, but you know what? I think since then it's gone up.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But you also probably have to deal with a lot. It seems like everyone's angrier now, so you probably have to deal with some pretty angry people now. But
I don't know what it is with retail and anger, but they seem to do a lot of flirting.
Maybe that's your experience. That wasn't my experience, but
oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't get much flirting going on when I was working.
Oh, no. So the anger and flirtation, like anger flirts a lot with.
Got it. There we go.
Know why people are angry in retail and customers, and I don't know. Retail,
I got it. Next question is: do you go on gossip websites?
Whew, not really. Can you count the Shade Room as a gossip? Sure. You got to say Shade Room is gossip. I go to Shade Room from time to time.
I mean, I think everyone's guilty of it. I was thinking more like TMZ, but yeah, if you've got like a specific one that you go to, that works. You know, everyone's interested and curious about what's going on. So
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
uh,
we are.
next question is, can you sing?
Oh man, I wish. You can't tell me I can't sing, but if you ask anybody else, they're like, "Oh my gosh, please, just stick to smiling and acting." But uh, they're just, some people are just they're not happy with themselves, Dave, and they
Mhm.
want to rank my parade because I sound like Brian McKnight on a bad day, and on my best days, I probably sound like Michael McDonald. So.
Hey, don't let them rain on your parade. You know, they're just worried. They don't want to have too many threats, right? Like, they don't want you to be like a triple or quadruple threats. They're just trying to stamp you down. Don't let them do that.
David,
Let your voice shine.
you get it, brother. I promise.
And also with like karaoke, I don't know if you do karaoke, sometimes it's not about how well you sing, it's the effort that you put into it. That's what I've learned. So
Fast, gravitas,
yeah, exactly.
all of that.
The presence.
Yes, the
Yes.
showmanship.
Next question is, have the press ever showed up at your door?
At my door. Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes, they have
All right. All right.
more than what you're thinking, but yes, they have.
All right. Next question. Have you ever been recognized like in public?
Yes,
Oh, that's awesome.
one of the best feelings ever. Like one of the best feelings ever. Yes.
I'm sure it's happened more for you than me. It happened to me a couple times, and I was over the moon. I was like, "You want to take a picture with me?" Like, of course. Like, that's amazing. Great. What else? What else can I do for you? So,
Yeah, Dave, I'd recognize you in public. I'd recognize you.
I have a more distinct look now than I did before, so it's much easier to recognize me.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. And I just wouldn't. The only thing I would question is, I'm not sure if he's that tall or if he's that. That's the only thing because I don't know how tall you are.
That's true. That's true. It's part of the mystery, right? It's part of that unknown, the courage it takes to go up and ask in person. So,
And we all love that unknown.
yeah,
That's
exactly. And the last question is, have you ever dated someone famous?
No,
Okay.
no. Popular, mildly popular, mildly popular.
That's
Famous.
that's a kind of fame. You know, that would work. But yeah, there's plenty of time for that to happen, for your real life love story to blossom. So we'll just keep waiting and seeing what happens.
Listen, if you ever decide to have, like a blog website, you're gonna be the first that I let in on dating the celebrity. I promise you.
Oh, be careful. You don't tempt me with a good time. That sounds fun. All right. So the film is out on September 1st, 2023 on Tubi. You're out promoting and getting the word out, letting people know to check this film out. After they see you in Differences, what else can they look for? Do you have any other projects kind of on the horizon? Or are you gonna, similar to Christmas in Carolina, take a step back, kind of reflect, do your charities, and then wait for the next opportunity?
Well, we have an opportunity that's in the bag right now that's under development. And in the meantime, you guys can also keep up with. So sure, you do know the process. You were getting ready for the Christmas backpack drive, and that's because that's nationwide. It's going to require so much of my time this year, and then the next few years, you guys can look forward to seeing me with my own production team and my own films that we'll be releasing. But until then, Differences is out right now, September 1st on Tubi. You guys can follow us at the djrowellfoundation.org. All social medias, DJ Rowell Foundation. If you want to follow my career and the things that I'm doing in entertainment, follow David L. Rowell. That's on Facebook, that's on Instagram, and everywhere else. Please, I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed with this movie. I think you're going to see so much, and everybody grabs different perspectives, and you're going to see so much character growth from not only myself but all of the cast. And it's been an amazing journey. So
that is awesome to hear. No, that definitely check out Differences on Tubi on September 1st, 2023. This is the star, David L. Rowell. Always a pleasure talking to you, and glad to see you're doing well, and can't wait to see you in the next one. So thanks so much for your time.
Dave, it's always a pleasure, brother. Always a
Awesome.
pleasure.
That is David L. Rowell, the star of Differences, which is coming to Tubi on September 1st, 2023. It is an indie romantic drama with a really great message and some really good music and a good performance by David L. Rowell. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.